welcome to another episode of Cooking with Craig. Today, I've been asked to make a pie. Now, I like my apple pies, my pear pies, my fruit salad pies, but I've never done a rhubarb pie with fresh rhubarb. And I've been asked to do this by none other than Chris the Taste Tester, who will actually be helping me in this video. Today, we will be making an apple and rhubarb pie. So, what do you need for that? Well, of course, you need rhubarb and apples. Now, I always use my apples that have been around for about 2 weeks. They've been in the bowl. Sometimes they get eaten, sometimes they don't get eaten. These are the last of the fruit before I go and buy new fruit. So I've gone and bought new fruit. So these apples are left over, and I need to turn them into something because they're getting a little bit wrinkly. They're going to get turned into pies. So what else do you need to make this pie? Well, a nice piece of puff pastry, one sheet, one square, and a pre-made pie crust. Now, these are short crust pastry. You can also get these in the little tart size as well. So if you wanted to make individual portion little pies, you could do that. But I like to have one big pie. So I've got my pie crust. I've got my puff pastry for the top. I've got some rhubarb. I've got some apple. I've got some sugar. I'll have some cinnamon. Now, if you don't have white kitchen sugar, you've got treacle or golden syrup, you can use that as well. Any kind of a sugar substance is great. You can use granulated sugar, powdered sugar, whatever sugar you've got on hand. This is about making a pie on a budget. Alright, so I've got white kitchen sugar here, and I'll probably put a teaspoon of golden syrup in there as well, into the pot. So they're not adding extra water in the beginning, so that it'll all start stewing down and get awesome. Alright, so what we're going to do here is we're going to time lapse cutting this rhubarb up and these apples. Now, it's not going to be me who's going to do this. This will be Chris the Taste Tester helping out. Alright, time lapse time. Alright, let's get this thing started up. So let's turn on the front burner and pour in our rhubarb that Chris the Taste Tester has cut up for us. Put these aside. Get this going. What we're going to do is going to put in about a cup or half a cup of sugar, granulated. There we go, about a cup. And we're also going to put in about 2 tablespoons of golden syrup. Coating everything up. Alright, let's time lapse this. Alright, so that has now started to break down a little bit. Time to chuck in my apples. There we go. Give that a good stir to get that sugary goodness in and around everything. So there you go. You can see the outside of the rhubarb starting to break up. Perfect. And we'll start with the apples in. We'll get these stewed down as well. Alright. Time to time lapse some more. Alright, so Chris the Taste Tester helped me chop these up. I've now stewed these down with 1.5 cups of sugar and a little bit of treacle, golden syrup. Now time for me to pull out my short crust pastry pan. I've now set the oven to 160 degrees Celsius, and it's been preheated while I was cooking on the stove. So we're almost ready to put this in here and that on there and that on there too. Alright, let's scoop this out. Okay, so I've got my pie crust. It's probably about enough for 2 pies, and sometimes I do make 2 pies at once, so it's not something that I don't normally do. It's something I do. So in goes the rhubarb, the apple, Right. There we go. That pie is now nice and full. And as you can see, I still have a lot left. Put that over to the side. That's going to be for another recipe on another day. Alright, so now I've got my pie all here. Time to put some lattice on top of it. I like to top my pies with a bit of a lattice work across the top. So it makes it look nice and homemade. A bit rustic. Right. Get these ones. Looking pretty good already, isn't it? I haven't even finished it yet. Like the lattice work across the top. Sort of, yeah, does make it look a lot better. Alright, now with the last bit of my pastry, what I like to do is I like to turn these into like bows. It's a rustic-ish kind of a bow. I'll make these into the... Yeah. Didn't see where I was going with that, but not quite. But it looks there. Alright, time to top this with a milky wash. And then we'll put on some sugar and top it with a dusting of cinnamon. And this should be perfect. Don't worry about getting it on the bench. You can wipe that up later. There we go. Right. Time to dust this with some sugar and some cinnamon. Alright, so I'm going to use some raw sugar because it's a larger granule. I want that to stand out on top of the pie. Like that. And dusting. Of cinnamon on the top of that. Alright, let's whack that in the oven for about 35 to 40 minutes. Until the base is nicely cooked and the top has got a little bit puffed. Alright, 160 degrees, 35 to 40 minutes. In she goes. Alright, that has been a good 40 minutes in the oven on 160 degrees Celsius. So it's cooked the base, it's cooked the rest of the pie filling, that puff pastry's puffed up nicely, the sugar and the cinnamon have gone nice on top as well. That's it. It's done. All you need now to do is cut it up, serve a bit of whipped cream, and you're done. That's how easy it is to cook a rhubarb and apple pie. Just remember, if you see anything you like this videos, make sure you give us a big thumbs up. Don't forget comments, questions, or maybe other things you'd like me to try and cook that could be put in a pie. Leave it in the comments field below on YouTube. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and get notified when I do these Cooking with Craig segments, my daily vlogs, Urban Explorer, car maintenance, checkout basket, you name it. I film it, it ends up on YouTube. So hit that subscribe button. And until next time, see you in the next video.